Hello Pickles and welcome to a new series, Ice and Fire. So what is this? And how did we get to this point here, hey? All will be revealed. So yeah, we've started a new series. It is SkyBlock Ice and Fire, and this is all inspired from the Fix It SkyBlock challenge that we did a few months ago. So I've got a small group of about 9 content creators together. I will leave a link to their channels in the description below. And we set up our own SkyBlock server to the theme of Ice and Fire, where all us content creators can build to that theme as loosely as we like to take it. We've been going for about a week now, and we've already managed to set up a storage room, an iron farm, and a trading hall. I have also started doing live streams from this server, where the last live stream we set up a husk farm in order to get sand, and Rabbit has already set up a raid farm so that we can get emeralds to use at the trading hall. Many other things have been built on this server already, so check out the other content creators to see what they have been up to. But where did this all start? And what have I been doing for the last week? We have got 56 days starting from now to build by the theme Ice and Fire, however you like to interpret that. Should we get going?
Yay!
Yay! Who's going to build the cobble gen?
Not me.
I've got the bucket, nobody hit me off. So I spent an hour with everyone at the beginning before I had to go off and record a Valheim episode, which I have on my second channel, Bobbert Plays. I will leave a link in the description to that if you want to watch Valheim. Anyway, back to Minecraft. Some of the others branched out to the outer islands to grab the different tree types, and this is what we got up to. We managed to get a few trees grown to get some wood. We've got cobble gen going. We even managed to light the portal. And then by the end of it, we managed to get a 4-player cobble gen going from the 1 bucket of lava, which was pretty cool. And then, when I came back after recording, this is what had happened. They have been busy. We've got jungle trees, acacia trees, we've got our oak trees there, so there's a few trees going on. Do we have more tree? I think there might be a tree farm over there as well. We've got our coconuts, our cocoa beans, our pumpkins, and our watermelons. That's really cool. And we've got wheat. That's cool, and Lilith is over there, so see what she's been up to. So Lilith was AFKing to try and get grass to grow because they had accidentally dug up all the grass blocks from the main island and some of the grass blocks from the outer islands as well, and I think the swamp was the only island left that had grass in it. Lilith was trying to get a platform to be able to spawn animals. I then went down to the bottom to check out the early game mob farm that they had built. This was just a simple spawn box and drop chute with a 1-hit kill at the bottom. This was a welcome sight as my plan for the first week was to build a villager trading hall. And then while trying to get into the mob farm to find out how I'd get a zombie villager out of it, this is what happened. And then this. Attempt number 2 to get a zombie villager went a bit like this. Eventually we managed to get ourselves 2 zombie villagers, but we didn't really want to do anything just yet, so we thought we'd go off and get everything set up ready to convert them. We thought we'd go to the Nether Fortress to try and tackle some blazes first, as we needed blaze powder and wanted to get the hardest part out the way. Whilst in there we bumped into a couple of wither skeletons. I managed to swiftly bump them on the head though. We eventually managed to get a couple of blazes to spawn. As it turned out, they weren't that reluctant to give up their blaze rods anyway. I then journeyed across our network of sky platforms to find our desert outer island, in order to mine up all the sand so that we could take it back to make some glass bottles. Not with all the sand, just with 3 of them. Then it was back to mob grinding to get enough iron to make a pickaxe, so we could get the gold that was in the nether to be able to make a golden apple. Eventually we had everything we needed to cure the zombie villagers, So Lilith was a champ and she built us 2 platforms. The top platform was going to act as our makeshift villager breeder, while the lower platform was going to become our villager trading hall. We converted the 2 zombie villagers back to villagers. Now we had to try and get them up the bubble vator onto the breeding platform. This proved a little bit difficult, and the first try they weren't doing it. Being villagers, they didn't want to move. So I tried a different way. This way was a lot more successful. I put them in the boat, as you can see, and then we pushed them into the bubble vator, and they made it. They made it up to the top. Right, so here's my little makeshift breeder. It doesn't look much like one, does it? It doesn't look like what you're normally used to seeing. So the idea around here is, obviously this area is probably a bit big for the villagers anyway, but I can't do that. So come through here, make sure they don't escape. Our 2 villagers here will be the ones that are breeding. The beds are through there, and they think they can pathfind to them, like you would do in a normal breeder. I can walk through here. So the babies will be able to get through here, but the adults won't. They think they can get to these beds because of this trapdoor. The babies will then fall down here, and then they'll be running around on the platform out here, and they can't get back in here with the adults. All I need to do really now is shut off this water vator here, which is a bit of a shame, but I don't want the babies running into here and then either sinking down here or floating up there. So that's that for now. We're going to see if it works. I'm just going to breed up some potatoes and then feed them. So just sealed this off, but I've had an idea based on what I saw down at the bottom of the drop chute, which I think Rabbit did. So if we put a chest in here, and then we can waterlog the chest, and then if we land on that, it should stop us from getting full damage. I've got myself 2 stacks of carrots, so I'll give those to them in a minute, and we can watch them breed. So what we can do now is if we drop down through here, we don't take full damage. Sweet. So we can now jump on there. The babies aren't going to fall down, and that's all good. We can't get down to the level below yet, but I think we can get down through here. If we just drop down through this platform here, we can obviously get down onto this platform now. I'm now going to throw 2 stacks of carrots at the feet of these villagers here. So we just throw them there. If I press Control and Q, that throw a whole stack. There we go. They'll pick those up. They should start sharing them. Look, they're sharing them straight away, and hopefully we can start breeding. Hopefully. So they're sharing carrots, which is good. Their inventory will be full. They should do a couple of breeds. There we go, and they're breeding straight away. So the farm is working. It's just whether or not the babies will fall down that gap. I think they will. And we have our first baby. There he is. Right, I'll run outside quickly here. And we'll see if the baby then falls down this gap here. Because he should want to go and jump on the bed. He should pathfind to the beds. There he goes. Up he goes. And he's down. There we go. Hopefully he doesn't stay in there. That is the only problem. Cool. Right, so they won't get stuck under there. And I'll shut that bit off as well. There we go. So they now fall down and will carry on growing. And these guys should carry on breeding. Next thing to work on is getting the iron farms ready so that we can start producing iron. So to start the iron farms, I built these boat holding cells in which the zombies will sit in to scare the villagers, and it's a good way to hold the zombies so that they're staying in one place and they've got eye contact with the villagers. I built 4 of those. Here they are with the bases to the villager cells for the iron farms. I know what you're going to say, Bobbert, you don't need workstations for iron farms anymore. But haha, this isn't for the iron farm, but it is. But it's to trade with the villagers once they make the iron. Smart moves. Then I got on to building the rest of the cells. They're only basic, but they do the job. And things will get improved as time goes on anyway. And again, I went round and built 4 of these, and at the end, once the villagers are in, there'll be trapdoors in front just to stop the villagers from pushing each other over the edge. So the villager cells are in. Next job is to get some zombies up here. So the way we're going to get the zombies up is, I've uncovered this again, and good job I never got rid of it really. We're going to send them up this water chute. So my first thought was to kill all the mobs that were in the bottom of the farm already. Then as they started reproducing mobs, I could let them out through the bottom. That wasn't going to work. So I then tried using the boat, which came with its own minor complications, but that was a quick fix, and eventually I had a zombie in a boat. Now all I had to do was get the zombie out of the boat, and into the bubble vator to the iron farm level. In order to do that, as you can see, I built a path around to the back of the bubble vator and basically just let the zombie follow me. I went through the path which he couldn't pathfind to, so he tried to get into the bubble vator and ended up going up. Once he made it up the bubble vator to the iron farm floor level, all I had to do was then get him to pathfind to me, which was a little bit tricky because he was stuck in the bubbles, but I used the boat. Then I just had to get it to follow me as I jumped over the boat that I wanted to get it trapped into, and voila. We have got all the zombies in. Sweet. Next, beds and villagers. So I then built the spawning platform for the iron golems. This consisted of a water tray and then the floating blocks that I'm placing in a checkerboard pattern so that when the iron golem spawns, he'll suffocate and then his items will then shoot out of the water stream into a hopper or a barrel that I'll place later on. I then released 3 villagers with a sneaky one coming out too, with a bit of fence work to block one off and removing of the slab to allow pathfinding. We managed to get the 3 villagers into the bed. I only had to do this another 3 times. And it's working, look, it's working. We've got it. Yes. We've got iron. And now it's time to work on the villager trading floor. Now as you can see, we've managed to have some villagers bred from the iron level and transported down onto this floor already. And as you can also see, we've set up a breeding area for the new trading hall. And we've just started building. Managed to work out a few rough ideas. So here I've just put in the pathways for the bred villagers to be able to pathfind out to their trading stations and matched the opposite side that I pre-worked out before we started doing this time lapse. And now I'm just starting to put the roof on. I then decided to build a wall because I kind of felt necessary that if any of the villagers escaped, I didn't really want them walking off over the edge and then losing our traders. So I've decided to put a wall around the whole perimeter of the trading hall. I then shrunk down the librarian's area and managed to get the trapdoors and fence gates in to be able to trap the villagers into their positions so that they couldn't escape, and we managed to get some of the librarians into their positions as well, just so that we knew that it worked. I then started putting the rest of the perimeter wall in just so I had a rough idea of the scale and size of how the build's going to fit within the floor disc. Once I got all the walls done, we put some more roofs on to the distance that we needed to get them to, and then started placing some of the villager trading stands just to get the placements right. Having to work around what was already built in place, like the water chutes and stuff, was a bit of a challenge, but it just meant we had to think a bit more about what we were doing. Then we got the second roof on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we managed to get all our pre-existing librarians into their holding cells ready for trading. And remember, it's always best to tidy up as you go along, so you know where you're going and where you've got to go next. So then I marked out the other area ready for traders to be placed into their holding cells and built the second roof on the opposite side. I then did some more housework, tidying and cleaning, and then removed that bubble vator that we used to get the zombies up to the top floor in the first place. And that was the start of our villager trading floor. We still had a bit more things to do to clear up and sort it out to refine it, but at least we can now get the villagers in and start trading for emerald. And so that's how we got from starting with this, going on to this, and ending up with this. Now if you'd like to see what happens in the next episode, and you're going to want to see what happens in the next episode, then hit that sub button now. And if you want to see what else has been built on the server, then check out the other creators' channels, their links are in the description below. Thank you for watching, ciao for now.